Hello, everyone. It's Stella Grizont from Work Happier Weekly at WUPA, where we help you work happier and live better because you spend most of your waking hours at work and we've got to make them count. So, today I want to talk to you about your executive presence. I've actually this week spoke to a new client who is struggling with this, and I've been having these conversations on and off, and I figured this would be a juicy topic. So here we go. So, what exactly is executive presence? Well, executive presence is a combination of having made the right decisions, having the right attitude, and exuding the right behaviors to encourage trust in your leadership, trust in that you're going to make the right choices on behalf of a team, on behalf of an organization. And so often what happens with often what happens is maybe you've gotten feedback that, oh, you don't have quite the right presence to earn that director title or VP title or whatever title. So that's when people start reflecting and trying to become more self-aware. The other thing that might happen is that maybe you're stepping into a new role and maybe you're worried about, well, are people really going to believe that I'm capable and that I got this? So, whatever the reason that might attract you to listening to this video, really what it comes down to is really aligning your own self-worth and possessing it in a way that's authentic so that people aren't turned off by you trying to force or prove anything, right? So often when we think about executive presence and like, oh, I've got to have the right executive presence, I've got to show that I have the stuff that it takes, we think, okay, I just got to be confident and have the right posture and speak up at meetings. And yeah, but people know when you're faking it, right? And they say fake it till you make it, but not quite in that way. And so the number one thing that I encouraged the woman who I spoke with, who became a new client just this week, the number one thing she was struggling with is, will people believe that I have what it takes? And she's like, I know I do, but I feel like they're judging me, and I'm worried that they're not going to follow my leadership or support me. And I asked her, like, well, what gives you evidence of all of this? And there was very little. A lot of it was in here. And that's where most of our self-doubt starts, is that we doubt ourselves. We think we have to have an extra degree or an extra type of experience. And you don't always need experience to have strong executive presence, right? Like, look at Mark Zuckerberg. He didn't have the executive presence or the experience to do what he's doing, but he's still doing it, right? So that said, often what happens when it comes to developing confidence so that other people believe in you, most folks take a wrong turn in faking it or trying to be something they're not. And so then that really transmutes into something that feels kind of arrogant or cocky or just uncomfortable. And so, what I want to encourage you all to do, and this is the one thing, this is the most important thing you can do to help you with your executive presence, is instead of worrying about how am I showing up? What do these people think of me? How do I prove to them that I'm worthy? What else do I need to develop in myself to so that they don't judge me or criticize me? Instead of playing that head game, I want you to shift to thinking about something else, which is just showing up and being of service to the people that you're leading. So it's very different mindset from like me, and like you don't really think about it when you're in it, but if you think about it right now, like I'm not saying you, but one's obsession about am I good enough is a very self-centered kind of head thing. And that's really our ego. Like our ego's job is to really keep us small. Really, really keep us small. And so what we have to do is recognize, oh, that's my ego trying to psych me out. And I need to turn my attention away from myself, me. Am I good enough? How do I prove that I'm good enough? Let me pretend like I know what I'm talking about. Two, and you don't have to pretend, but you're usually like putting on like a face, right? Two, how do I show up for these guys? Like, what do they really need? Where are they really struggling? How can I serve them? How can I just listen? How can I roll up my sleeves? How can I ask them to describe where it is I might be of most value? So that's the shift. Oh my God, you guys. Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm just seeing everyone who joined. Hey, you guys. So So, what's so important is that we shift our focus from how do I prove I'm good enough to how do I just show up and be of service here? And so that can take many forms. Like in the beginning, it might be more of a lot of listening to tell me what's going on, tell me some of your challenge areas, tell me what really excites you, energizes you. How might I support you? Right? Or it might be also just being vulnerable and actually expressing that you don't have all the answers. Sometimes the mistake we make when we're trying to develop executive presence is pretend like we have all the answers. And that is super annoying. How many of you guys have been in a meeting with someone who like pretends like they know it all and like it's super annoying, right? You don't want to work with them. So it has the opposite effect. Rather than attracting a group of people towards you, you're repelling them. So so we want to be of service. We want to ask and listen. How can we be of service? We want to be willing to say, I don't have all the answers, but here's how I'm planning to get to those answers. And here's what I'm dedicated to doing for you guys, right? So, and then it's actually doing it. Obviously. Chris is saying, when you rise to that level, you are no longer judged on how well you do your job. Excellence is expected. You are now judged on how well you make people around you. It's not about you. Exactly. So, exactly. That's such a great comment, Chris. So, it's not, there's a difference between a leader and just a manager, right? So, a leader is someone who is focused on developing the people to do the things that need to be done. A manager is focused on just making sure things are being done, right? So the difference is being people focused or versus being just getting things done focused. And you have to obviously think about the things that need to get done, but it's really about you helping these people thrive. And the thing that's going to make them thrive is knowing that you're being real and that you care. Because if you're not, then they don't really feel safe enough to actually tell you what they need. They don't feel safe enough because they don't trust the decisions that you're making. And the best way for you to make decisions is for you to be plugged in to what is really happening with your team so that you have that open communication. So that's what I was thinking we'd talk about. Do you guys have, oh, Jeff has a comment. Choosing to care about providing value for my audience than about impressing people changed everything for my speaking business. That is awesome, Jeff. That is really cool. How did you actually do that? I'm just curious, like, can you share what is like one action that you did that actually shifted your trying to impress people versus you're actually being there to serve? I'm just curious if you can answer. That would be great. Anybody else? What do you guys do? What has really worked for you in the past? Or where are you struggling that we could like dive into? Okay, well, while you're chewing on that and deciding if you want to share here or not, I'm going to give you some updates on what's going on and what I'm doing, and some workshops that you guys can watch that I've done. So I'm just looking at the calendar. What month is it? Oh my God, it's already August. Okay, so this August, August 27th, 28th, I'm going to be speaking at the Walcoa Summit, which is all about wellness at organizations. It's going to be in Philadelphia. And I'm going to be doing a keynote there, which I'm really excited for. And then I'm going to be speaking in September for Steel Partners. So both of those events are closed, but I do have some webinars that I just did for Biz Library and for Happify that you guys can check out for free. And if you're in my newsletter, you should be getting links to those. And you can sign up for my newsletter at whoopa.com. And Chris is saying, I always tell our managers about chefs that if you can't be legitimately happy for the success of others, then leadership is not for you. That is so awesome, Chris. I love that you're this awesome leader. Chris and I went to high school together, so it's so nice to see where you're at. So yes, the other thing with executive presence is it's not like about a competition, right? Because when you make it into a competition and you try to be this impressive big shot, then again, that is like sending out repellent. And often what happens is, remember, we've talked about this many times before on other Work Happier Weeklies, like our emotions are contagious. And so often if you feel like you're being judged by others, or they're being critical of you, or they're not trusting your decision making, ask yourself, how much of that am I responsible for in my own beliefs or in my own discomfort? Because sometimes when we're not comfortable in our own skin, that is exuding from us. And that's what other people are sniffing out. And then that creates weirdness, to put it simply. So what you really want to focus on is really getting comfortable with yourself. And what does that mean? It means knowing who you are at your best and how it is it that you want to be. What are your values? What are those guideposts that keep you in the right lane, moving towards being the kind of person you're proud to be? And if you haven't already downloaded my vision generator exercise, that's going to help you start to clarify those elements. So you can get that at visiongenerator.com. And that's going to start to help you get clear on what are the qualities that are important, or the conditions that I need to cultivate a sense of being and presence that make me proud, that bring me into optimal performance and optimal happiness and joy. So when you have that clarity, and when you're not running around trying to make other people happy or follow a prescription of success that's not your own, that's when you're settled. That's when you feel more peaceful within yourself. And that's when people are attracted to you. They're not going to know why exactly they like you, or they're attracted to you, or they want to work with you, but it's probably because you're not this frenetic energy of like, oh my God, am I good enough? What do I have to do? It's more this peaceful, grounded, centered, clear presence. That is what people gravitate towards. It's when you have a calming, grounded presence, and it starts with your relationship with yourself. That's why I talk about developing key inner skills. You know, if we think about the evolution of employee development, it used to be that all that mattered were hard skills. Can you do the job, right? Can you make this soup? Can you build this widget? Can you build this house? And then people in the 50s started to realize, oh, there's more to performance than just knowing how to do the thing. You also have to know how to relate to others. And that's what soft skills are. Soft skills are about how do you relate to others at work. And now, you know, that's a common thing and place where we train. But the next level, the next frontier, and this is where I really love to play and work, is about inner skills. And that's about how do you relate to yourself? And when you like yourself, when you are directing yourself towards who you want to be and where you feel most at home, that's when all the other things start to fall in place. My favorite quote is, when you find your piece in the puzzle, you enable 10,000 others to find theirs. And so the key to executive presence is really doing that inner work first, because then everything else will fall into place. So, with that, you guys, if you like this, like it, love it, share it. And if you have a topic that you'd like me to talk about, I am all ears. You can write me, stella@whoopa.com. You can message me on Facebook. You can write a comment in Facebook or YouTube, and I will happily do a Facebook Live on it if it's appropriate. All right, you guys, have a great night, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.